Oh, shit, we're recording. Hold on, let me get my notes ready. I stopped the song. I hope there wasn't anything meaningful in there. I did honestly watch it once, and it wasn't the greatest. Um, I would like to credit you, first off, for not opposing science, for not arguing against facts, more or less. I've seen it done much worse, and I'd like to just, tip my hat to you for doing wonderful in that respect, and pretty much that respect alone. This argument that the universe is too fine-tuned to not have been designed it's crap. I've thought about it a lot. I really have, and the conclusion that I keep coming to is crap. Because if the universe is designed for life, there's a whole lot of area as far as Earth goes that can't support life, let alone in our solar system or the rest of the universe. If it was fine tuned for life, there's some massive failure going on. Someone failed an engineering class somewhere in their godly schooling of I dropped out of college. But the argument basically hinges on the idea if things were different, then things would be different. And I agree with that argument. It's fantastic because you can apply it everywhere. If things were different, things would be different. The thing is, when you take that argument to science, it doesn't hold weight because science realizes it's a bullshit argument and never asks that question. Science doesn't say if things are different, then things would be different. It doesn't work that way. Science looks at what it is and comes to a conclusion. Science has no reason to say if things were different, then things would be different. If they were different by a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a percent, then things would be different. Science says this is the way it is. And sure, it's great to suppose, it's great to think things, it's great to go, and if things were different, they'd be different. It's good thinking, it's good hypothesis. But at the end of the day, you're back to square one with the same argument that if things were different, things would be different. The problem with this is your sample size is one. We have one observable universe. Universal constants, the things that you claim if they were changed by a fraction of a percent, of a fraction of a percent, of a fraction of a percent, are universal constants, and they're observed. They're not made up. Changing them by using a whole bunch of zeros and exponents looks impressive, but it really isn't. If things were a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a single percent different, then things would be a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a single percent different, and the entire universe would be made of jello, or cheese, or we couldn't have protons, or we couldn't have this. And while it's great to nail that down, it has real scientific meaning to say, wow, we are this close. It doesn't give any credence to saying, by the way, if things were different, things could be different. And if different things were different things, then different things would be different things. That's the argument that keeps being referred to in fine-tuning. It just doesn't work. That's not how it is. I have a quick facts section because my videos of old tended to ramble on and be damn near useless. Speaking of ramble on, that's what I'm doing now. We have objections. In our new quick facts section, I just want to point out that water, H2O, is thought to be the most abundant compound in the universe right now. Realize the universe is kind of, I will say evolved, but it hasn't. It's changed based on what stars are and how the star's life has happened and what galaxy we're talking about. It's a very complex subject, but to dumb it down, the universe has evolved, and right now water is considered to be the most abundant compound. Anyway, we have objections. The one-to-one argument. We only have this one observable universe. It goes back to the if things were different, they'd be different. And they would. Shit, I'll agree with that. If things were different, they'd be different. And it would be, different. I'm going to teach you right now how to perform a miracle. It's better than winning the lottery. I want you to go out into your yard or into a field or into anything, and I want you to pluck a piece of grass, and I want you to pick it up, and I want you to say that it's a miracle, because it is. What are the chances in that lawn or in that field of grass that you would have picked that stalk? And even greater, to multiply the miracle, if you order now, what are the chances that you would have plucked it off at that exact length? Checkmate. I've got your miracle. It's like saying the guy who won the lottery last week has a 100% chance of winning the lottery. No, it's nothing like that. It's like saying the guy who went out into the lawn and plucked a single blade of grass amongst 3 billion blades of grass picked that blade of grass. It's like saying we're looking at him holding that stalk of grass and he won. He won the grass lottery. He has performed a miracle. On a side note, if you didn't get it with the universe and all that, you're totally screwed. Well, the thing is, this goes back to the sample size of 1. If we didn't win the universe lottery, if we didn't pick that blade of grass that gets life, then we'd be screwed. Well, we don't exactly know the screwed ending because we didn't get screwed, so we don't know that. The other objection, the theory of everything could have been God designed. Yeah, that argument's great. Could have been God designed. My toilet could have been God designed. A man named Crapper, who incidentally is why a toilet is sometimes known as a crapper, he could have fallen and hit in his head, and God could have struck him with lightning right at that moment. He said, bam, we need an indoor potty. And that would have been it, and it would have been a God-designed toilet. But if that were the case, you'd have to prove to me that God struck Crapper with the lightning. You'd have to prove to me that that happened. Until that point, I'll just assume Crapper was a brilliant man in terms of pooping indoors, and he is the reason I don't need a bedpan. The universe we can explain through science. It doesn't mean God didn't have anything to do with it. Isn't that the one I just hit? I've lost my place in my notes. Oh yes, chance of the gaps. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. If you're going to insert a lot of zeros and repeat them, you need T-Pain. T-Pain mastered this thing called autotune. You could at least be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, because at that point the numbers mean nothing. And if you don't understand the science that led to the reason you have lots of zeros, then you really don't understand anything, and you've fallen into being impressed by a lot of zeros. And anyone who's impressed by a lot of zeros isn't thinking very hard. I mean that with all due respect. The proof for multiple universes is almost non-existent. I agree with you on that point. It's a very weak theory. I know a little about the science behind it. I know about the theory. I know about the attempts to explain it away. At that point, it's very in-depth and very, I'm sorry, I don't have a master's degree in physics to be able to follow it, but I can tell you this. The proof of your God is absolutely 0. So if we have a theory for multiple universes, we're technically a step ahead of your God. Let's see how long I've rambled. Yeah, 8.5 minutes. I'll give it a couple seconds because it always tends to cut off the end. Again, I wouldn't have done this if I didn't respect you, especially in the fact that you've not gone against science. I'm a little disappointed you fed into big numbers, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I hope you'll accept it. If not, it'll be flying on my channel, and all of the people on my channel, since I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 years and they've thought I'm dead, you know, congratulations, you win the Cupid doll. You got me out of retirement to speak my piece, and it was great. And if you want any more, PM me, make a video response. I'll be sure to get back with you. Until then, peace.